It's about 9:40 on Saturday morning. Tiling continues and construction of the door lintel is underway. So, and rendering of the floor tank enclosure. It's a dull day today, but hopefully that's a promise of more rain. We had rain yesterday. So that's where the level on the tank was, just below 23,000. So now I go and turn the tap on at the bottom down here, and we're just above 23,000. That's a bit disappointing. I thought we'd gone up more than that. But the walls of the tank are porous, it seems. A bit damp out here. You can see the damp spots on the wall of the front tank there. And you can see more on the back tank here. Damp spots. There's obviously some leakage over there. And a bit down here. It's Sunday morning. I've just put a batch of bread in the bread machine. What I hadn't noticed going on was over at the end of the rice factory, we're getting that shelter built over there. So I'll have to go down and have a look there. But I see at the back door of Lise's patio here, we have a concrete step there now, and of course we have deep chicken prints in it. Amazing how they find that. But oh yes, and we have a rice nursery over there, so that's where they plant some rice out just to get it germinated, and then they go and collect it from there and plant it out in the rice paddies later. Meantime, tiling continues here. Still using my expensive battery powered angle grinder instead of the cheap corded ones, so I guess since they're not paying they don't care. But that one's not replaceable here with another Ryobi. They're not sold in Indonesia, so not my preferred option, but what are you going to do? Clean up work going on out here. Everyone's making it nice and tidy along the bottom. Simon's there with a crumbled. Now, strangely enough, about 4 days ago, ordered some nice crumbobs from Shopee. I wonder when they're going to come. Oh, time to go and do my Sunday ritual over here, I think. Had another 13 mil of rain yesterday. Creek's still not flowing quite. Well, that rain yesterday has seen the level go from there to there. So we're creeping up on full. It's all good. Now I found out what accounted for some of this water around here. We actually have this thing, which is supposed to be where you bleed the air out of the filter. The knob is broken off the top, so it needs something to hold it down. Now I'm not sure how well that will hold down versus the pump. So as ever, I have a spare, and of course the bastard's going to be unscrewing it off that, because that's actually screwed in and then glued together. So could be awkward. But yeah, it's not good. If that's held down straight, it seals. If it's not straight, it doesn't seal. May actually have to replace the filter unit. Bugger. Oh well, at least I have a spare. I laid a bit of concrete just as a ramp along this edge here. So of course, chicken print. Why am I not amazed? I hadn't been down to the rice factory for a while. Came down yesterday to go out to regular doctor visit. See that we've got our concrete added at the corner here, so it's not quite so difficult to get round in one turn, which leads me to believe they've probably fixed up the crossing of the drain out the front. Yep, looks like they've fixed this up a bit. I wonder if they did Nando's as well. And yes, they did. So we have a nice garden fence around this house opposite the rice factory. It looks like they're growing a garden bed inside it. But yeah, mesh to keep the chickens out, but they'll just go straight over the top when they want to. But not quite sure what this fence is made of, but okay, fine. And we have the shelter structure going up. This is going to be a nice shelter for the people responsible for supervising the drying of the rice out here, so they can sit here on a sunny day and not get fried. But somewhere up over top of this, eventually, there should be that 200 watt light that we took down from Lise's back patio. But as ever, my Ryobi power tools are being put to good use, and hopefully not being abused. I was looking for something heavy enough to keep that button pressed down, and lead acid battery certainly is heavy enough. I think the pump's turned on at the moment, as you can hear, and I don't appear to have much of a leak there, so that'll do until we can get that filter unit replaced. Well, I dug out my spare water filter system, and it actually comes with a couple of pressure gauges in those little white boxes as bonus, so that'll be interesting. But yeah, so I'll have to get Azra involved in some plumbing work at some point. It's Monday. The tile job's looking pretty good. The guys are on meal time. And the concrete columns and beam are stripped of their form now. So you see what happens next here. Still looking a little wet here, but not as wet as yesterday. And this thing's just making a fool of me. I came over yesterday with Jemima and showed her the problem. I took the battery off the top of it, and there was a fountain around that little red thing you see sticking up there. So I put the battery back on, closed off. Then she explained the problem to Azra, and I came over with him later, and I took the battery off to demonstrate the problem, and it sealed up. No more problem. So we were figuring out how to change this over without having to cut the pipe here, because Azra was talking, okay, cut there, and yeah, anyway, figure we might not have to do that, depending on where this clocked to when we screwed that off and screwed another one on there. But as it turns out, we don't need to replace it after all. That's a bullet dodged, but oh well, we have the spare if we need it. But yeah, this thing, press down, get fountain, let go, seals down. So, okay, that's what we wanted to do. And you can see various leakage points along here. given the inside of the tank is tiled, that's only what's coming through the grout lines between the tiles. So I thought, well, I'd given Dadang some food grade epoxy stuff I had to mix up to paint around this bit that was leaking previously, and to do the rest of the grout lines you could reach. Obviously it didn't go very far. And now, well, we have water, we have lots of water. Some of it's inside the tank. Nice sunny day today, which is good, because we had a few dull days there. We had, I think, 3 consecutive days where the genset ran. So might have to run the genset today if I look at it. Well, we have the roof on this shelter at the end of the rice factory now. So shade for the people who are working, supervising the drying of this rice. Or supervising the rice drying area when there's rice on it. This is interesting. I wonder what we're doing here. Obviously expecting to have a pond. You can see over in the distance over there, there's a pipe through the dam wall to stop the water overtopping the dam wall and washing it away. Oh well, that'll be a good mosquito breeder, unless we get some fish in there. Previously identified that as a rice nursery, I guess you might say. They established their rice seedlings in a little fenced enclosure like that to keep ducks and chickens and what have you out. And once the rice seedlings have grown up, then they'll take them from there to transplant into the actual rice paddies. Well, as it turned out, before noon it got a bit dull, and the rain did start coming down. It's not yet 1 o'clock, and we've had more than 45 millimetres, and the genset has started because the solar input is down to 0. And I looked at the 10-day forecast, and the forecast every day is either thunderstorms or scattered thunderstorms. So there's more of this to come. Seems to be only after the afternoon, so I'll go over in the morning and check the contents of the diesel tank and the genset. I think there'll still be plenty in it, but it doesn't hurt to top it up. Yeah, so good quality rain. Might even find that the creek is flowing next time I go down and check. Well, I picked up my camera expecting to come out and say that after the rain had ended, and then going over and checking the water level and checking the creek and so forth, but the rain hasn't ended, it's still continuing. But we've had 59 millimetres so far, so it's a pretty good rain. I'm betting the tank's full. So I'll find out tomorrow morning, because the pattern is that we get fine weather in the morning and then afternoon thunderstorm. Okay, so we now have a wall joining up the side of the door and our back patio, and I'm making a beautification of the lintel and doorpost now. If I can sneak through there without getting concrete on me. We added 59.21 millimetres of rain yesterday, so even though we still have the cracks there, the soil is looking a lot wetter than it was. It's also growing a bit of grass. So this will undoubtedly get ploughed up at some stage with the walking tractor. Not so full down here though. This is the genset fuel gauge. So tip another 30 litres into there. Fill that up. That's better. Almost 30 litres in there. There's probably 2 litres left in that drum. And we're back to full again. When I came over earlier, I forecast that the tanks would be full, and then when I turned on the tap down the bottom, we could overflow at the top there. And I was right. However, the camera didn't record. So just to prove it, I shall turn on this tap. And there we have it. In theory, this is the top of the tank and the underside of the roof of the tank. So that should have been high enough for the water tube. However, I'd forgotten to take into account the fact that there are 3 penetrations in the top roof of the tank which go up full depth. Like there's the 2 manholes over the other side, one either side of the centre line, and the point at that end where the water comes in. So presently the water level is somewhere between there and there. So that's why it overflows here if I open that valve. So it's chockers. The water's evaporated a bit from the path, so I can actually get down here now without getting wet feet. Lots more passion fruit coming on this vine down at the west end. It's excellent. There's even some falling off by the look of it. But yeah, some more up there. So I'm going to get a good crop off this one. And the creek level is up and we actually have some flow. So things are happening. I see fish jumping up at the stream again. And Dadang's banana grove here is looking very happy. Oh, that one's still got a lead. So we're going to have nice smooth walls here. But I'm betting the Jabita won't let me have them painted white. I like white because it's clean looking, unless you use a really cheap white, in which case it goes mouldy and looks green. But Spider reckons white's too bright. Well, I start another day baffled. There was a power outage on the public network last evening, and so we had power, of course, still, but everybody else was saying, oh, the fridge isn't working. And of course I put those boxes in so that they would work. So this morning I went over to box house thinking, okay, maybe the relay in the box is no good because they're not good for inductive loads. And so I went over and took the cover off the box, put a multimeter on the wires coming from here, and it said 7.9 volts. And I thought, well, that ain't good. So I came back here, and with the cover off this, I checked the output of this switch, and it said 220 volts. Well, that ain't right, because it doesn't say that at the far end. So I switched it off and on again, which still did 220 volts here, which is what's expected. Went to the far end, put the multimeter on, it says 220 volts. So, what? So anyway, I put the cover back on, plugged everything back together, and moved on to the next house. So I checked Titin's house, and it was working perfectly there. So then I checked Santa's house. Yep, working perfectly there. But I come back here now and see that he unplugged the fridge and plugged it back in again a couple of times, and I see it's tripped the RCBO. So I don't know what's happening there. But we're definitely getting power consumption here. I wonder what that one is. It's not Simonina's house. Might be Titin. way to find out would be go click. Yep, that's not titting. So try Nando. Nope. Yeah. Nope. It's not Salmino. What is it? Not titting. I don't know why that one's twitching like that. Can't figure out whose it is. Well, anyway, I thought it was these things not standing up to inductive loads. So the solution to that would be to substitute my little relay block for one of these automatic transfer switches without the timer. Put one of those in each on one of the boxes, and that would cost me about $33 Australian for each one. It's a possibility I may have to do that, but I'm still baffled as to why I was only getting 7.9 volts at the far end of that cable when it was 220 volts at this end. Maybe I didn't have good contact on the probes at the far end. I don't know, but anyway, it's a mystery for me to worry about. Rice factory's running. A new diesel generator, diesel motor, and I gather the rice nursery needs to be guarded from birds, hence the person sitting there acting as guard. Must be a bit of a dull job. And something I noticed yesterday but didn't comment on at the time is this house foundation's been planted out. So I'm assuming that from that they're not planning to build there tomorrow. Dadang got a bit of white paint applied, but mostly yesterday he got it applied over at the shed. So the scooter enclosure is painted inside and out. So there's already a limited degree of occupation. And this thing came back yesterday as fixed. It's been running for several hours and that's how much ice it's produced so far. So, nah, go away again. Well, it's Friday again, so time to wrap up the weekly update. Obviously more white paint has been applied in Lise's back patio and on the pump room, or the bore room. Looking from the camera at the shed, I can tell you that the south wall of that has been painted. Don't know about the west wall, a fair bit there it has been. And I've had more thoughts on the problem with the cables that run from my switchboard to the other houses. When I measure the voltage at this end is on the top of the terminals at the bottom of the RCBOs, and that shows 232 volts, which is correct. When I measure at the far end, I'll get, for the two I've tried, I got 124 and 140. So I figure there could be corrosion where the wires are screwed onto the terminals at the relay block at the far end. It could be corrosion on the wires where they screw into the RCBOs at my end, or it could be problems if there's joiners in the cables that have got corrosion. I didn't run those cables, so I don't know what was done for those. But I'll start by turning off the RCBOs and, or at least one to try, and redo the cable on the relay socket at the far end. If that doesn't fix it, then I gotta come back and schedule outage on that switchboard at my end. I'm not about to do work in there while it's still live. In theory I could, because the RCBOs will be turned off, but I'm not going to take chances. I didn't get to do this all by being stupid. Yeah, so as you can see, bit of rain, so we're keeping the tanks topped up. All good. I'll take this on the end of my accumulated video for this week and do an upload.